Have you ever noticed something strange in relationships? The harder some men try to please a woman, the less respect they seem to receive. Meanwhile, another man barely tries, yet he commands attention, attraction, and respect. Why does that happen? And more importantly, what do wise men understand about women that most men completely miss? The ancient Stoics believed that a man's greatest power was self-mastery, not wealth, not status, not even charm, but control over his emotions, actions, and principles. And when it comes to relationships, this philosophy becomes incredibly powerful. Because many men unknowingly lose their strength around women, chasing approval, over-investing emotionally, or abandoning their own purpose. So in this video, we're going to explore 9 things smart men never do with women based on Stoic principles and timeless masculine wisdom. Some of these mistakes are obvious, but others are subtle, and they quietly destroy a man's value over time. 1. Smart men do not beg for attention. A man who constantly seeks validation from a woman slowly loses his power, texting first every time, waiting anxiously for replies, overthinking every interaction. You've probably seen it before. A man sends a message, then checks his phone every 5 minutes. But here's the truth. Attention that is begged for is rarely respected. The Stoics taught that your peace should never depend on external approval. A man with inner discipline doesn't chase attention. He lives his life. And if someone wants to join that life, they are welcome. 2. Smart men do not make women their entire world. Many men make this mistake when they fall in love. Suddenly, everything begins to revolve around her. Friends slowly disappear, hobbies are forgotten, and the goals he once worked hard for fade into the background. His entire world becomes centered on one person. At first, it may feel romantic, but over time it becomes dangerous. When a man abandons his purpose, he slowly loses the very qualities that once made him attractive: his ambition, independence, and direction in life. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that every person has a mission and a role to fulfill in life. Distractions, no matter how emotionally powerful, should never pull a man away from his purpose. A strong relationship should enhance your life, not consume it. A woman should complement your journey, not replace it. Smart men build a meaningful life first and invite the right woman to be part of that life, not the center of it. 3. Smart men do not over-explain themselves. Some men feel the need to justify every decision they make. If they're busy, they send a long paragraph explaining why they can't reply immediately. If they disagree with something, they soften their words again and again, hoping not to upset anyone. But constantly over-explaining often reveals something deeper, an underlying need for approval. Confident men understand a powerful truth. Not everyone needs to agree with your choices. You don't need to convince the world every time you make a decision. When you live by clear values, your actions already speak for you. Stoic philosophy teaches emotional independence and self-control. Philosophers like Epictetus emphasized focusing on what is within your control, your actions, your character, and your decisions. A man who constantly explains himself is unconsciously asking for permission, but a strong man moves with calm certainty. He speaks when necessary, explains when it truly matters, and otherwise lets his actions stand on their own. 4. Smart men do not tolerate disrespect. Respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship. Without it, even the strongest attraction will eventually collapse. Yet many men tolerate subtle forms of disrespect because they fear losing the woman. It often begins in small ways: sarcastic insults, constant criticism, or jokes that embarrass him in public. On the surface, he laughs it off, pretending it doesn't bother him. But deep inside, something slowly erodes: his confidence, his sense of worth, and the balance in the relationship. Stoic philosophy places great importance on self-respect and personal dignity. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote that a man should guard his character and dignity above all else. When you tolerate disrespect, you silently teach others how to treat you. A smart man doesn't explode with anger or react emotionally. Instead, he remains calm and composed, but he also sets clear boundaries. And if those boundaries continue to be ignored, he doesn't argue or beg. He simply walks away with dignity and self-respect. 5. Smart men do not try to fix women. Many men fall into the trap of becoming a rescuer. They meet a woman carrying emotional chaos, unresolved trauma or instability, and they believe it's their responsibility to save her. Slowly, the relationship shifts. He becomes the therapist, the counselor, and the emotional support system all at once. Instead of building a partnership, he begins carrying the emotional weight of two people. But here's the reality. You cannot fix someone who is not committed to fixing themselves. Stoic philosophy teaches a powerful principle: focus only on what is within your control. The Stoic teacher Epictetus often emphasized that while we can guide, support, and advise others, we cannot change their nature or force them to grow. Trying to rebuild someone who refuses to work on themselves often leads to exhaustion, resentment, and emotional burnout. A wise man can offer compassion and support, but he never sacrifices his mental peace trying to rebuild someone else's life. A healthy relationship requires two people willing to grow, not one person trying to save the other. Most men recognize the first few mistakes, but number 7 is where many intelligent men quietly destroy their own value, without even realizing it. Let's continue. 6. Smart men do not reveal all their strength at once. Mystery creates curiosity, yet many men make the mistake of revealing everything about themselves too quickly. Within just a few days, they share their deepest feelings, insecurities, and their entire life story. While emotional honesty is important, revealing too much too soon can remove the sense of intrigue that naturally draws people in. Think about it. Some of the most interesting people you meet don't immediately open every door to their personality. They reveal themselves gradually. Each conversation uncovers something new, which keeps curiosity alive. Stoic thinkers believed in the power of restraint and thoughtful speech. The Roman emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius often emphasized self-control and reflection before speaking. A disciplined man observes first, listens carefully, and shares his deeper thoughts only with those who have earned his trust. True strength isn't loud or rushed. It unfolds slowly over time. 7. Smart men do not fear losing a woman. This is where many men collapse. Fear quietly takes over their behavior. They become afraid of saying the wrong thing, afraid of expressing disagreement, and afraid that one mistake might cause her to leave. Slowly, that fear begins to reshape their personality. They become overly agreeable, constantly accommodating, and hesitant to speak their true thoughts. Instead of being authentic, they start performing, trying to keep the peace at any cost. But here is a difficult truth. Fear destroys attraction. When a man is afraid to lose someone, he often sacrifices the very confidence and independence that once made him appealing. The Stoics practiced a powerful mental exercise called negative visualization, imagining the loss of things they value so they would not become emotionally dependent on them. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that freedom begins when you accept that some things are not under your control. A man who understands he can survive loss becomes calm, confident, and grounded. And paradoxically, that inner stability often makes people want to stay. 8. Smart men do not compete for a woman's approval. Some men treat dating like a competition. They constantly try to impress, outperform other men, or prove their worth in ways that are exhausting and unsustainable. Every word, every gesture, every decision becomes a performance aimed at winning her approval. But this mindset subtly hands the power to her, placing her in the role of judge, and you in the role of contestant. Stoicism rejects this dynamic entirely. Your value, your dignity, and your sense of self are not determined by anyone else's opinion. The Stoic philosopher Seneca emphasized that true confidence comes from internal standards, not external validation. A smart man does not perform to earn approval. Instead, he calmly evaluates whether she meets his standards, aligning with someone who complements his life rather than defines it. The moment you adopt this mindset, your energy, presence, and interactions change profoundly, shifting from desperate to magnetic. 9. Smart men do not lose control of their emotions. Perhaps the most important lesson of Stoicism: emotional control. Arguments happen in relationships. Misunderstandings happen. But the man who loses control, yelling, reacting impulsively, or acting out of anger, always loses his authority. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." A Stoic man remains calm under pressure. He listens. He responds thoughtfully. And when emotions rise, he chooses discipline over reaction. Because true strength isn't dominance. It's self-mastery. Final message. The Stoics believed that a man's life should be guided by virtue, discipline, and purpose. Not emotional chaos, not desperation for approval, not fear of loss. When you respect yourself, control your emotions, and live according to your values, something powerful happens. You stop chasing validation, and you start attracting respect. Not just from women, but from everyone around you, because the strongest men are not controlled by their desires. They are guided by their principles.